Alright, Detecting Talk of the Day, Monday, February 27, 2023. You know, there's a little discussion on that friendly metal detecting forum, you know. And I guess this one gentleman, you know, he thinks he's got this all figured out. And then there's another guy. He's found this video this guy's done, you know, and he's latched on to it. Sort of like that marketing person, you know. She found her something that she really liked. And this one guy, you know, he's latched on to it too, but obviously I don't believe he's ever run but one multi-frequency machine in his life. Well, I've run more than one, folks. I've tested more than one. You know, this already, they're like, well, which is the best? Well, I'll clue you all in on a few things. There's already some data out there if you care to go read it. Mr. Dankowski has done stated. Now, I don't know the methodology he uses, but I do think he is a person that I can believe. He says the DS2 outperforms the Manticore in unmasking separation by 4%. You can go read that on his forum. He had both machines. Okay, so that's Minelab's latest, I guess you could say, that's their flagship. The DS2 beats it. The Legend detector was already released before that. Oh, and let's go ahead and add this Garrett Apex in this equation too. You know, I don't hear it mentioned. It's multi-frequency too. I get the idea this one gentleman over there on Friendly Forum thinks all you gotta do is just, if a machine is deemed multi-frequency, it's the Mac Daddy, you know? They're all equals. All multi-frequency machines are equal. You think the Apex isn't equal to the DS2? You think the Apex isn't equal to the Equinox 900? I can tell you right now the answer to that question is no. These multi-frequency machines are not even equally deep on a beach, salt beach. I mean, what's the Apex? Garrett ought to have that baby deep, right? That Legend should be every bit as deep as a Manticore. I mean, according to this one guy, multi-frequency is multi-frequency. It's not about the power. I mean, the transmit power. I mean, that's not what it's about on that beach, is it? No. Truth be told, these machines in these saltwater beach programs, transmit output may be lower than the land program. So it's not about the power. That's my gut feeling. I don't know. There has been some talks. Some of these beach programs on the Equinox 800, you know, they were neutered. Beach 2's neutered. You can run it at higher sensitivity than Beach 1 and get sort of similar performance, but as the targets get smaller, Beach 1 dominates. This is what NASA Tom has said, and that's what other people have already witnessed. 4%, that's what he said was the DS2 over the Manticore. Now, the question is, well, what does that 4% get you? Well, that 4% may, if you compare those detectors, they may see the same challenge target. But one's given a longer tone, one's given a better sounding tone. Or maybe it is a go, no-go. One hits it and one don't. We don't know. There's too many variables out there that we could pin this down. You know, you can't pin it down with just one challenge target scenario. But, and I've already seen this. I've seen what NASA Tom is talking about. I've not been able to put a percentage on it. I don't know his methodology he uses to do such a thing, okay? But if I keep seeing, think about this, on top of the ground test, if I keep seeing one detector having advantage for all practical purposes, what does that mean? They're not, that means something. Okay? Now, something else that's sort of maybe getting left out here. You know, everybody's sort of into this multi-frequency. What about this single frequency operations? They all have them. All these multi-frequencies as of late now has single frequency ops. Why don't you go out in some high mineralized soil and check them out? Because reason I'm bringing this up, you know, the XPJS1 single frequency wasn't a slouch in higher mineralized ground. It wasn't a slouch. So how do the Equinox series, and how does the Manticore, and how does the Legend, how does the Garrett Apex, I don't even know if it has single frequency or not, maybe it does. How do they stack up using single frequency in the hotter ground? I suspect the DS2 there's going to be a pretty good performer, but you know, you all can go check. You see where I'm going with this, don't you? The XP folks actually made a single frequency machine that wasn't too slouchy in higher mineral ground. Can't say that about the rest. So XP, you know, and what about black sand? What about if we take all these multi-frequency detectors? Y'all want to know which one's the best? Go to black sand. Now, there's already been some comments and tests done suggesting that the DS2 may be a little short on the smallest of gold for prospecting. Okay. Smallest of gold. Question is, you know, how small of gold do you want to be chasing around out there? That's what, you know, that's a question. So anyway, you know, this is more than just slapping, you know, what about this Atrix? It's got a multi-frequency function on it too. Rudis Atrix. Anybody run that thing? Try one of them out. See what you think. I already know somebody that did. Wasn't good, okay? So which one is the best? Now, you know, you're talking about locating targets. You're talking about ID of targets. You're talking about the tone, the information audible given on a target. You're talking about iron handling. You know, you go into a site in a high iron site, you know, it needs to handle the iron. That's another aspect. Because, you know, you don't want one machine that's given more, you know, you can set the machine up to find the goods, but you can also set it up where you're digging more iron versus another machine. And here's something else I'm going to bring up, because I still hadn't quite figured this part out here, okay? Multi-frequency machines, okay, you got them out there. Well, the Legend is a standout amongst the bunch. And why am I saying this? It's got how many levels of iron filter? How many? And it looked like I just seen a comment the other day, they're going to add a new level. Well, if they keep adding levels of iron filter to this machine, it'll have more iron filter settings than it's got for an ID display of 0 through 60. I believe you've got 9 levels on the Equinox 900. DS2, you got a silencer of 0, I believe, through 6. Manticore, you've got an upper ferrous limits, I believe, that will come down to 14. The upper ferrous limits, but you'll never probably use the top 4. You'll never use them. You only use 5 through 14 ever with that machine. Now, it does have some lower ferrous limit setting, but it ain't got 35 settings. Okay? Or 40, or whatever this thing's going to turn out to have, this Legend. Maybe that's what was, you know, remember what was said some time ago? Oh, we ain't going to put iron filter or iron bias on this machine. I talked to the engineers. It's a tricky business. Well, that must be tricky, because I've got a lot of iron filter settings on that machine. Far more than any other machine, and I still have not seen anybody tell me how you set that thing up. I mean, you got to pick one out of 35 or 6 right now, maybe more later. Now, this is not a bash any detector. I'm just telling y'all the real deal, okay? But there's already some information out there on some of these machines, okay? Now, let me lay another little thing on you all here. Mr. Dankowski received the Deus 2. You can go read about this too. When he received that machine, he didn't have it very long. I'm not even sure he even had used the machine in the wild. You know what that gentleman said about that machine? You can go read it. I will paraphrase for you. Preliminary results. Flagship unmasker separator. Okay. So he did something there around his house, evidently, and he'd probably done similar tests with other machines. He did say, I need to use the machine in the wild. Well, he hasn't changed his mind on that aspect. He hasn't come back after using it and said, oh, I was all wrong, folks. Okay. So he could do something. Think about it. He could do something with all the machines that he's tested. He could do something that would tell him that. Now, one other thing that he said, and it's been a few years, and again, you all can go read this on his forum. He tested one of the Nocta units. It might have been the Go unit they made. I believe it transmitted on about 19 kilohertz. It could have been 20. He tested that against the XP Go Max power. He come up with a figure on that machine too. Something like the XP Go Max had like a 4% advantage on the separation unmasking. Well, what's significant about that to me is the XP Go Max was running at a lower frequency, yet it had the advantage. So, and the XP Go Max was the machine that he was testing at the time was a new release. That Go Max platform is old, boys, okay? Very old. Some of these people too, let me go ahead and say this. Oh, well, it's all about the processor and the detector. That's not the whole deal, boys and girls, okay? It's not just about the processor and the detector. It's not just about that. There's more to it than that, and there's more to it than just slapping frequency and it calling it multi-frequency and saying, oh, this thing's up there with all the rest, boys. So all this overgeneralization talk, you know, it's garbage is what it is, okay? And then this one gentleman, you know, that's come out with this video, well, I would like to know how he got his data. How did he get his data? Did he do it in the basement somewhere? Is that how I don't know. But where did he get his data? Well, I hope you enjoyed the video.